Hey guys, how are you? Let me make sure that we're on. Give me 1 second. 1 second here. I have to refresh multiple times. I know it's last minute. I wanted to jump on. I was gonna paint some more. I'm actually painting a different kind of flower tonight, but then I thought I'll show you guys the hydrangeas. I've been wanting to get on for a while and show you this because I loved it so much in our workshop. I'm going to go to my easel. Say hello if you're on with my last minute jump on. So say hi, and I'm going to paint with you. And Leslie, I believe, is going to jump on and help with comments while I'm painting. I'm going to show you my filbert brush. And I'm going to show you how to build up a three-dimensional hydrangea. Hydrangeas are my very favorite flower, and I can't wait to show you how to build this up. We did a 2-day workshop with this. So we have on our site, we have a virtual painting class for this. If you have the supplies, it has a supplies list and the stencils. And then we also have a kit with everything drawn out with the canvas, all the paints, all the brushes, everything you need. But I'm going to show you how to make a few 3-dimensional blue hydrangeas because I loved it so much. But say hello if you're on. I'd love to hear from you. If you're watching the replay later, say hello as well. Let us know where you're from. I'd love to hear. Joyce Lynn, hey, how are you? Terita Johnson from Oregon, hello, how are you? Leslie Tabor's on. Hey, Leslie, how are you? So I'm going to paint a little, and if you have any questions, let us know. And if you're just jumping on as we go, please say hello. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know where you're from, okay? So I have so many filbert brushes. I have them of all sizes and all colors. So I'm going to use this one today, I think. We have links to most of these in our membership as well. If you're one of our members, I'm going to grab a couple other, you would not believe how big some of these are that I have. I'm going to grab a couple other, I have hundreds and hundreds of paintbrushes, but look at this one. It's giant depending on the size of the hydrangea you want to make. Okay. So we have tons and tons and tons. And so I'm going to show you my easy, simple ways. Linda Baker, how are you? Good to see you. This is 3 days in a row, Linda, I think, in the membership and then today. Leslie is from Texas. How's the weather there today, Leslie? Leslie, today yesterday we went from 20 snowing, hailing to 60 today, back down to 30 tonight, I think. It's so funny. Hi, Geraldine. 3 days in a row with you too. That's awesome. Carolyn's on from Central Alabama. How are you doing, Carolyn? It's nice to see you. I hope everybody's doing great. So I'm going to get my filbert brush. They have rounded tips, guys. I love filbert brushes. And so I'm going to move this over so you can see better. So I'm going to put in my water, but then I'm going to dry it off pretty good on my paint towel, okay? I really don't want water in it, but I do want my bristles softened, okay? I'm going to use a few different colors. I'm going to show you the ones that I did in our hydrangeas workshop. So in our hydrangeas workshop, we also did this, we showed the brown fence and the purple and violet hydrangeas as well. So that's included in the virtual tutorial also the tutorial for the kit. So you'll get to be able to make both of those. But right now, I'm just going to show you these ones. So I'm taking a little bit of phthalo blue. I'm going to add a little bit of my sky blue with that, okay? We're gonna layer this up. I'm gonna put maybe a touch of white on my tip, tap it off. I'm gonna layer this up as I go. Actually, let me draw a couple for you first, okay? You might wanna see a couple drawn. Hey Karen, how are you? Packing paints for tomorrow's class. I can't wait to hear all about it, Linda. You're gonna do fantastic. You really are, I know it. Never type with one finger, not watching the screen. Cloudy, rainy, but 80. 80's good. Okay, guys, when you're making hydrangea, don't make the edges a perfect circle because they're not. If you look at hydrangeas, once you start painting things, you're going to look at them. And so when you're looking at hydrangeas, you're going to see that they're not perfect, okay? So I'm going to make some with some wonky edges, okay? So we're going to do a bundle of 3. If you don't know, this is my very favorite flower. Linda, which one are you doing in class tomorrow? Let me know. So guys, what you want to do, this is what's important, is you are going to pull in from the outside in. outside in, okay? Sometimes you're gonna see all 4 petals. Sometimes I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Sometimes you're just gonna see 3 petals, and sometimes you're gonna see 2, okay? I'm gonna show you how to highlight and lowlight this. I roll this around on the middle of my finger, okay? I don't keep it going all in the same direction. And we're gonna build this up. I'm gonna show you how to shadow it, but also it is very important not to have perfect shapes. Make sure you're overlapping, okay? Just realized I'm stooping. I'm gonna move this up just a little bit. Can't be stooping. My back is like hating me because the weather has changed so drastically recently. If you're not familiar with me, I do have a pretty extensive spinal cord injury, so I have to be a little careful when the weather is yucky. But I will be overlapping some of these. We're going to make them a little bit brighter towards the center. We're going to let them be a little bit darker towards the edges and underneath. And I'm going to show you how to build up the color using very little paint, very, very little paint, okay? So sometimes 3, sometimes 2, sometimes 1, moving your brush around, you know, on that side of the finger. Always go, I walk around classroom all the time going from outside in. Marlene, you feel the pain. I bet you do, my friend. It's not good, right? Spring gnome in the raincoat. That's so awesome. We just did that too last week. We did another one. Hi, Paula Weston. How are you, my friend? And so I'm going to go in here. And I'm going to leave that little bit of black in the center. Yeah, Marlene, this weather is not my friend. Not my friend. Okay, and around the edges, you're going to see I'm going to like leave it a little bit wonky. Like I don't want like a perfect edge around this, okay? What really matters is when you go back around for rounds like 2 and 3, and you're highlighting and lowlighting, okay? So we're gonna start with that. But I have to tell you, I did the background in hydrangeas on the fence painting with this indigo color with a tiny bit of white. And this is a beautiful color, Lucas Paint. If you put a little bit of white in it, it makes such a nice night sky. We use this for the sunflowers at night painting as well. And it came out beautifully. So I just wanted to show you that. So if you don't have that on hand and you want to do the virtual painting, all you do is mix a little ultramarine blue together with a little bit of sorry, I can't talk today. Ultramarine blue with a little dioxazine purple, and you'll get the same coloring. It's just nice to have it colored, you know, all at one time. So a little bit brighter towards the center, less paint, less pressure as you're coming down towards the sides, okay? Everything's outside in, outside in. If you're adding a little bit of white, start in the center first and then work your way around. We will be wanting this a little shadowed in there. I'm wiping that off with my finger because I want that a little darker. I'm going to show you how to scrub in a shadow anyway though, okay? So I want to start showing you short clips, which I was starting a few weeks ago. We have snow in the forecast again this weekend, hoping the spring gnome brings better weather for us. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Minnesota people, I feel bad for you. If we have any more bad weather, I'm going south. Hey, Luann, how are you? Loved indigo paint. Yes, it's so pretty, isn't it? Oh, thanks so much, Leslie. But yeah, we're over our bad weather. My son was playing a doubleheader in sleet and snow and 20-degree weather the other night. I could not be in it. My husband was like in a Carhartt. He said he looked ridiculous, but he was the only warm person there. So funny. I could not go because I can't have too much of a temperature change like that. But yeah, our weather's been crazy, crazy, crazy. So friend Leslie, she was writing me today. She's purchasing a Cricut and she was asking which one to get. And I think they all work well. It just depends on how much you're going to use it. I'm going to start a little brighter in the center again. We have the Maker, but we also have another one that's like a level down from that. It works great as well. Someone else is donating one to the studio, and she said it works very well as well. So that's nice. We can have a few running at the same time. That's Miss Sarah that paints with us. I love these colors together too. And if you have it with that indigo background, it just looks beautiful. And once you get this motion down, outside in, you get a feel for how much paint you're using. You're lifting off as you're bringing that in. You're not leaving big gaping amounts of black, just a little bit, so you have some contrast in there. Like, this will start becoming natural to you. And a lot of other flowers are created like this. I just created, I'll grab another flower painting I just created because I have it here instead of at the studio because I'm going to film it. So give me one second. Sometimes I want to make this a little bit more wonky, so I'm going to bring like this out a little bit. I don't like a perfect edge around these, so I don't want like a really circular edge. But I'm going to show you another flower that I created with the same basis, the same process, but different like shapes a little bit. Hold on one second. There's paintings galore here. So when I made this, I don't know if you saw this. This is the forget-me-nots. I'm going to drop it down so you can see it. But look at the flowers. Same thing. It's actually like in 4s and 5s, sometimes 3s, sometimes 2. Look how loose you can be with this, but how beautiful it can come together. So if you learn this little technique of lifting off, you know, putting this was just with cerulean blue with the little white on the tip, and then lifting off, coming towards the center, you're going to be able to create a lot of flowers like that because we have all different shapes and sizes of the filbert brush. Some are a little pointed, some are more rounded. You can make a lot of different flowers. So I'm excited to film that. I'm excited to see everyone's paintings with that too. So here's where the real fun comes in, where we can start making these really pop. Didn't realize how you paint these though. You just put the blue on the accent, the dots for the flowers. That's something new for me. Yay, Marlene, I'm so glad. I'm so glad, Luann. I'm so glad you love it. Hi, Lynn, how are you? The Maker 3 and currently looking for the best price. That's it. We have it and we love it, Leslie. So when we go back, I'm gonna get a little sky blue. We're going to level up just a little bit. So a little lighter, sky blue, white on the tip. Never take your white like directly to your painting because that's all you're going to get unless you just want your white highlight. I always start in the center, okay? And you're lifting off. You're not going to cover everything that you've done, okay? But you're going to decide like where you want it a little brighter. And you can overlap these. Like, it doesn't have to be exactly where you were before, okay? But I'm going to start taking off my pressure, less light, as I come off to the sides, okay? As I come to in underneath. So we have to think of like, where would it be brighter? Where would it be a little bit darker? If I think that the light's coming like right down through the middle, I'm going to make, you know, the centers a little bit brighter. And then I'm going to have the underneath and the top a little bit less bright, okay? So I'm going to pull this in here. Yeah, I was just putting this kit up on our app today, and I thought, oh, let me jump on when I can today and show you guys this because it's such an easy process. Wait until you see it all come together. There's a few like easy steps to highlight and low light, and you'll be surprised. There's very easy ways to make leaves for this as well. I'm actually in the middle of a poppies painting. I'm not gonna like spoil it for you, but that's what I'm gonna go back to after this. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this over a little bit. That's not all we're going to do with that. I'm gonna come back to it one more time, okay? And I'm just barely touching, very lightly, not having to get a lot of paint, taking my pressure off as I come over, okay? If you have any questions, just let us know. This is with a filbert brush, which is a rounded brush if you just jumped on, okay? This workshop, I have to tell you, they were some of the most beautiful paintings that I've seen. People did a tremendous job with them. I think it was about, we did this workshop. Now it's all pre-recorded because it was live when we did it. We probably did it a month or two ago, and all my days are like, I don't know, the schedule's always so busy, so I can't remember exactly. But I need to post those all together because you'd be shocked like how beautiful they are. You will get this even if you're a brand new painter. Like you will make beautiful hydrangeas. There's no doubt in my mind. So outside in, brighter in the center, wherever you think the light's gonna hit, okay? Less pressure, less paint as you go out and under, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to shadow that as well. And I'm gonna show you how to like separate this on the inside also. So I'm gonna wipe off my brush on my paint towel and I'm just gonna get white. The last step is just to get white when you're highlighting these, okay? All right, so all the squeaking is me leaning to see if you need anything on the computer. I'm not like super close to the computer, so I always have to lean in. So if I want the light to make the light look like it's coming in, like say down through here, I'm gonna think about, oh, where would that hit? Like I would probably have it come a little bit, you know, across here. Maybe just touch a petal here and there, you know, on that side. Okay, up here, barely any. And you can really start making them feel like, so if it, three-dimensional. So if it's brighter in the center and then your pressure comes out as you go out, your eye's gonna think that's rounded because the brighter part looks like it's closer to you, okay? So this even, I think could be even brighter right here. Just a couple in the middle, all right? So I'm gonna do that over here as well. Then how I'm gonna make this look even more three-dimensional is I'm gonna low light this down in here even more once I get this done, okay? I'm gonna pull this over a little bit. So I'm gonna go over here. So we're still trying to like perfect that app, you know, with the kits. I feel like you guys don't get a good view on there. And so what's the point if we can't get a good view because it's like long. So they're giving us a few other options on there that we're testing out, different software that we could possibly use with that. So we'll let you know if we're going to go back to that. But I like using this software, which is Switcher. So you can see everything, like we can zoom in. I'm going to take my face off of there so you can see the whole thing. And you can see, you know, everything up close. That's important to me that you learn the strokes more than anything. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to barely touch as I come off here. Okay. And these also don't look right, guys, until we have like centers in them too. We always ask people to trust the process. Like I'll get you there. Just trust me along the way. Because there's a method to my madness, so just trust me, okay? Let me just make sure. One second. Hey, Pat, how are you? She's from coastal Georgia. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a member that jumps in like that with Avatar. It always makes me smile. Much better seeing it up close. I agree, Leslie. That's what's most important. Thanks for joining us, Pat. Okay, so I'm just making it a little bit brighter here, okay? So because I feel like this is where, that might be a little too bright. This is where the light is going to be coming through. So I come through this and do this a few times. Take your time, you know, and do this a few times. All right, so I'd want that a little bit brighter there and maybe a tiny bit here, okay? So sometimes what happens is people will lose their black in the middle, okay? So what I do with that is I don't make a perfect round circle. Like I left my black, but in case you didn't, take like a short round brush, okay? Something maybe with not so much of a point. And you would go in and you would put a little bit of black in your centers if you needed it, okay? This is what defines it, especially, and we'll put a dot of white, green, or yellow in the center when we're done, but you definitely need a little bit of darkness in the middle of your hydrangeas, okay? So while that's drying, I'm going to show you a way to shadow these, okay? So I'm going to take this. I love this round short brush. It's like a Maker's Mark brush, but we can't find the exact, like what it is, because from 6 years ago, our membership keeps asking me. So it's a round brush that doesn't have too much of a point on it. It's almost like flat on the end. We love it so much, but any round brush would do, okay? This is the only brush we can't tell you the exact size of it or where to get it. I hate to say that, but I love them. I've kept them in the studio for 6 years, and it's crazy. But I'm just going to dry brush. Have you guys ever dry brushed? If you haven't, what you do is you start with the smallest amount of paint. See this? Like I'm pulling off to the side. There's that picture there. I need to move it over. Smallest amount of paint, okay? You'll get in here where you need the shadow and you're gonna scrub it. I am pressing on this back part of the brush whenever I'm dry brushing. I'm not going on the tip. I'm going on the back part, like I'm pressing right here. And I'm scrubbing that on, and then I'm lifting off as I come up in here, okay? So that's step one of shadowing this, okay? This is gonna make it look like there's, this goes down in because it gets a little bit darker in between here. So we're going to do that first, and then I'm going to show you how to add Purple Lake into this because it's a huge help in making this look, you know, having another color in here for a shadow. Like kind of like how when we make mountains and we use like the sky blue as a shadow, I'm going to use my Purple Lake as a shadow with my blue hydrangeas. So when I'm scrubbing this up into the other hydrangeas, I'm taking my pressure off. I don't want a big bold black mark here. I want this to fade into here. This is very, very faint. Do you see that? Like there's hardly any black there because I'm dry brushing. So that's one thing to work on as a painter is how much paint you're using. I'm making a circular mark, okay? And I'm lifting off as I go up. There's so little paint that, oops, as I hit the green, just wipe that off. There's so little paint that it shouldn't go up further if you start into the dark area, okay? So the other thing, I'm gonna show you one other thing. Sorry for the squeaking, my chair. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little bit of my Purple Lake, okay? Little bit of my Purple Lake. This, a little too much. This looks beautiful on the blue as well for a highlight, okay, or a low light. Can't talk. Okay, so I want you to be able to see a tiny bit of this. I'm going to hold it up for you, okay? But see how you can see a little bit of it? Not a lot of it, just a little bit of it. And once you get that in, if you need to add a little bit of your highlights back in, you can, which I'm going to do. I'm going to do right here. I need a little bit of my highlight back in, okay? I didn't wash my brush because I didn't want any water in it. But if you wash your brush, make sure that you dry it out really well, okay? So I'm going to get a little bit of my... See, I lift off whenever I'm at my paint plate. Sometimes I go into the other paints because I'm not looking at it. Okay, so just a little bit. But see how that changes everything? It starts making everything else look like it's coming out towards you. It makes a big difference in your painting, okay? So what I would do is I would go back to my filbert and I'd highlight a couple more things before I put the dots in the circle, okay? So I'm going to, you know, when I take my brush, I talk about this a lot lately, I take my brush out of my cup and I dry it off. But then when I get my paint, I dry it off again because the water's still coming out. If your brush is fully submerged, it's going to hold paint in this metal, okay? So you'll have to dry it a few times. And so when I'm dry brushing, I want to make sure that even after I grab the paint, I dry it off again. It seems like a waste, but it's really not because you need to get it out of there, okay? Also, hold your brush down by the metal. If you're holding your brush way back here, you're not getting a lot of control, but you want to hold it down here and you're lifting off. You want to get used to this touch of lifting off. If something's too bright, touch it with your finger. You can dull it down. Sometimes when something's dark, you still want to catch, it's a little too much of that. You still want to catch a little bit of an edge of it and then dull it down. So you can see where it starts and stops. That's important too. So when something's fading back there, I still want to kind of see that it's back there. Like I don't want it to disappear completely. Okay, so I'm just going to go here. And I'm going to touch the edge. You pull this in. So these are a couple of like last minute things before I put the centers in, okay? And then, so if I lost anything here, I'm going to go back and I'm going to touch it. And I might get a couple of like little touches. See how light I'm touching it on the edges, okay? But I want you to know that even if you're a brand new painter, every single painter should be able to paint every single one of my paintings. You're gonna learn new techniques with every single one, but every technique is doable for even a brand new painter, I promise you. And people in our membership can attest to that. And that's one thing that I always worry, that people are going to look at something and be like, I can't do that. So I want you to know you can do it, right, guys? They can do it. Okay, so very light touches there, very light touches. So then what I'll do is I'll get like a small round brush, and you're going to decide your color in the center, okay? Joyce Lynn, how are you? Oh, that sounds like perfect weather. I love that. My son might move there one day. He has metal all through his back, and he thinks that weather would be good for him. I am making a huge 3-piece hydrangea painting for over my couch. Oh my gosh. Hey, Connie, Zach. Connie, how are you? I can't wait to see that. I want to see it, Geraldine, for sure. Yes, they can. Luann, that's right. Luann has definitely done a lot of classes, and you're doing a beautiful job, so she knows. Okay, so in the center of my hydrangeas, I've done all kind of panels. I've done like huge panels. I love that too. Thank you so much, Leslie. And you're so nice. Thank you. So in the centers, sometimes I put a very pastel yellow. I'll grab that. Sometimes it's just white. Sometimes it's this fluorescent green. So that's what I'm going to put in now. Okay. So I'm just going to get a round brush. This is a too long round brush, but you can use any round brush. I'm not used to the picture-in-picture right there anymore. Okay, so I'm going to get that. If you want it a little bit lighter, you can put a little bit of white in there. And what you're going to do is just get chunky paint, and you're going to just touch in the centers. And this is also going to define your flowers. Like, you're going to decide like where you want the centers, you know, of the flowers to be. As you're coming around the sides or the tops, you still want to make sure that that dulls a little bit. Do you see it? I'm not going to make anything too bright around the sides or the top. So my dot is going to become less. My pressure is less when I'm coming around there, okay? But you can use any color you want here. We've done them all different colors. I always start with the brightest part in the center, and then as my paint is disappearing, my pressure comes off, and I go, you know, off to the sides a little bit and down in between. So I guess I can take this off, so I quit running into that. And you guys will see how to make, in those tutorials, you'll see, and if you're in the HQ membership, you have both of them in your libraries as bonuses. And I think they're under the workshops, but you're going to see how to make purple hydrangeas, pink hydrangeas, blue hydrangeas, a white fence, a brown fence. That's all in that workshop. Okay. So I hope this helps you. But they're so fun. Like, I literally could paint these all day long, like all day, every color. I used to make panels, like huge panels of hydrangeas with all different colors for people with greenery throughout them. It was one of my favorite things I ever painted. And I still feel the same when I paint hydrangeas. Like, I love it so much. I love to see them. I want to buy them every time I'm at the store. I don't know if you guys are like that. It's honest truth. This is so cool. Wow. Oh, thanks so much. Hey, Joycelyn, thanks so much for joining us. It's just a quick tutorial tonight. So I appreciate you guys joining me. It's always lovely and wonderful to talk with you. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you're watching the replay, let us know. Say hello and where you're from. We'd love to know. And thank you again. Sorry, I just jumped on last minute. It's been so busy lately, and I appreciate you jumping on when I get on, and that I get to paint with you. So you're fantastic. So I hope you have a great night, and I will see you soon. I'll be coming on more often, and I'll see you soon. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks, Leslie, for jumping on. I appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.